Hi guys, I'm here to talk about EpicEmys, a social network for epic explorations. So the goal for this week was to improve our design and vision for our social network. So I decided to do that by taking the feedback from last week and trying to make things easier to read, determining what I want my social network to be called, and to kind of improve some of the design on each of my pages. So this was the feedback I got from last week, which was kind of, wow, it's really hard to read on the Apple TV, so this was hard to read. There were two login buttons, which was confusing. There was a space up here. Individuals didn't like this color. Someone suggested a cut carousel background, and this picture here is interfering with the text. So, with only 3 inputs on my entire page, there were 8 things that people suggested I could change. So I went to do that, and this is what I have now. And so the main changes were I moved the login button up here, tried to make it easier to read. I flipped the image so it wasn't interfering quite so much with the important information and more just kind of like the intuitive stuff. And I created the name, and I tried to kind of give it more personality. So you dive in when you join and you rock on when you log in. So the name that I chose was EpicEmys, which is, Emmys are a type of turtle, which was what I wanted my logo to be. So it's that merged. It's also, as Brian suggested, Epic and me. And what I thought was like the epitome of cool adventures. So I'm not really married to this name, but it was the best I could come up with. So please, feedback, please. So taking that, I kind of wanted to be able to give that to the users because previous to Googling cool turtle names, I didn't know that an Emmys was a turtle. So when you click dive in, you'll come to this page and it'll be asking for a little bit more information about you. So it's like, are you a diver or a traversing turtle? So are you a rock climber or are you a diver? And then from there, it'll start asking you more questions about the specific activity that you enjoy. So that is as far as I got this week.
I'm glad too. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're reading ahead. All right. Is there any questions?
What's this 33% thing?
Oh, so this was, okay, sorry guys. I was going to wait for my Mad Side Glad. Would you like my Mad Side Glad? Okay, cool. So my mad was that I don't know how or why or what happened, but my browser, every time I like typed in localhost, it was at a 33% of my full screen. So that meant when I found out that it was that, everything was ginormous. So I should have kind of gotten a clue when I was trying to make my text point 60 pixels, but it didn't clue in until yesterday, and I was like really annoyed, and Matt was kind of like, you should really fix that because you can't control people's browsers, but you can control what 100% is. And I was like, solid point.
You're gonna look back on that in like 5 years, and you're gonna laugh so much.
I really
guarantee
fucking hope
you.
so. Because right now it is not funny. So that was until 3 a.m. last night, me like going through. Also, I've done all of my CSS styling per page, which meant that like I couldn't just like do all H2s are now like 24 pixels instead of 60. I got to go to every page and fix each of them individually, which is why I don't have a live demo, because I haven't fixed it on every page. And that is going to be a continued annoyance for probably this evening. My sad is that I don't feel like I got as much done as I would like. I realized that I thought I had done my wireframing, but I definitely have not. I still don't know what I want my pages to look like. And I really do need to sit down and kind of think about it a little bit more. I got what I wanted my login page to look like, and I was like, sweet, I now have like the theme of my social network, so everything else will be easy, and that is not true. Each page is a disaster at this point, so that is something that I am sad. And I'm glad that Matt got lay.rs or layers. This was awesome and super cool, and he was really excited despite not having slept in like 48 hours. hours. There was a lot of happiness.
72 hours.
Sorry.
That's today.
That's like
No, I'm just kidding.
I underestimated you by a third. That's terrible.
There's a couple things I just noticed as well. I won't go too hard considering the background of the circumstances.
No, please, because I
But
need
can
to
you go
fix it
back a
anyways.
slide? I still find that, and I don't know if that's something that was kind of left over. I still find that white text.
Oh,
at the
that's
top.
yeah. I haven't fixed that yet.
Okay,
I
yeah.
also I don't like these colors. But those are two
Okay.
polymer elements deep, and I can get one, and then I just kind of colon shadow shadow, and nothing happens. So
Yeah, I learned that lesson earlier today too.
So
So
that's gonna be like a fun thing. There isn't way to access it, and I did find it. I think I need to do it in like JavaScript.
Yep.
But I copied and pasted that code from like some tutorial online.
Okay.
So now that I'm using it somewhere else, I'm like, why aren't you just the same?
Why aren't you working so nice again?
Yeah, so I want to kind of bring this down a bit. I'm going to make that text like a little bit more poppy.
Okay.
And I do want to have, I think Heather suggested it last week, a carousel.
Mhm.
And I spent like 8 hours and just broke everything, so I stopped trying with that guy.
Okay.
But that will be another, it's on my to-do.
Okay.
My to-do.
To-do has the same to-do.
So the diving, is it demis? Is that how it's pronounced?
Yeah, well, I was just playing around because it doesn't quite work. Also, like I was like, oh, demigod, but like shockingly, not everyone follows the same stream of thought as me.
Okay, it's still a work in progress, but like I didn't think traversing turtle that does not say climbing to me at all.
If you were a climber, it would.
True enough.
I mean, like, you know what traverse is, right? And like, so if you saw this, you would, like, if you were a climber, you would know that.
Okay.
Between diving and traversing, you would know which one's which.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's cool because the turtle looks like he's also in water. Is he in water?
He is in water, yeah. Yeah, I don't know how well turtles climb outside of water, to be honest.
Yeah.
Probably very poorly.
I don't know how well they climb inside of water.
He's doing a pretty good job. I have seen them climb some fences as I was Google searching earlier today, so I guess they do have climbing capabilities.
Okay.
But this looked a lot better than a fence.
They're the kind of turtles from Finding Nemo that are like, dude.
Yeah, those are the turtles that
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
perfect.
So
Alright.
what happens after you click one of those? Do you know yet?
So I'm hoping that it'll. Well, yes, I want it to kind of like open up, like the next page. So like this is a button there now. So when you click on one of them, and then it'll ask more specifics about like where's your favorite place to climb or what's your like just more information about the individual's preferences, which I haven't 100%.
What if you're both a diving enthusiast and a climbing
I'm
enthusiast?
gonna have a third one that's like both.
Okay.
Why? And I was scouting to the question. Why diving and climbing?
Okay, yes, that's a very good question. I was originally gonna do like diving, climbing, and like skydiving because it would be like air, land, and sea. But I don't know, skydiving didn't really work, and as far as I'm
Couldn't find a picture of a turtle flying through the air.
yeah,
Those people also don't hang out.
no animal cruelty happened in these photos. And I guess because most people that dive also climb that I know, not necessarily the other way around though.
No, see, I don't see a connection between the two of them, except for being adventure sports, so like being exploratory sports.
Yeah.
In particular, like, I would see like climbing and paddling as a thing.
Okay.
Some people would see like skiing and paddling. Like, there's a lot of people that do the skiing and paddling thing. There's a lot of people that do the or snowboard. A lot of people that do the climbing and skiing. So like those two in particular,
Kind of go together.
just as two, they don't really have too much resonance for me, and like I think there'd be a very small subset. But if you had like multiple things you could choose through,
Yeah. So maybe it could be.
Yeah,
just
it's a
expand
very
it
good
out. I mean,
point.
you're doing an MVP, maybe that's you choose one or the other, and that's like to show how you can choose one or the other.
Yeah.
But I think just if that's how you're like defining the site, it's a very very particular scope of people that would.
Okay.
Are these the type of divers that climb stuff and then subsequently dive off of it?
There are people that do that, yes, and that's
talked about
awesome.
that before.
Yeah, deep water
That's
search.
the third option. Yeah, again, you don't need to fixate on any of those
Um,
details. The goal right now is to just say, imagine somebody's A or B or A and B,
Yeah,
and then you can also have C and D and etc. and then any combination of the two.
Yeah, the real key
talking
is
math at me.
building it in a way so that you can expand
I do.
upon it, because you're not hitting you're hitting like an adventure enthusiast, but only adventure enthusiasts are interested in diving and or climbing right now. So to have the ability to add other things to it, like I was thinking surfing myself, but I don't think that really fits into the keep. Anything like
Yeah, I mean, as of right now, I
outdoors.
don't want to do much more than 2 because I'm already like.
Yeah.
But I agree that it should be able to in the future accept other
And
activities.
this will come into the later parts, but just something to think of is as you're building for the 2, you think in the back of your head, what if I wanted to change this into 4 or 6? How hard
Yeah.
is it going to be?
Yeah, not
So-
easy.
Because you're like probably trying to create like specific features for those specific communities.
Yeah, and then like I mean, I do want them to talk. I guess I was thinking in the sense of like when I was backpacking Southeast Asia, you're doing both like every day. Like every island has like all that's on it is like a climbing center and a diving center, and then everyone's doing both. So I just kind of like in my head those two things are merged. And in Vancouver, it's the same. Like you go climbing and you go diving, but I'm not basing that on like the world. I'm basing it on 2 places I've been. So yeah, I should probably research that a little bit more.
But yeah, again, don't get fixated on that stuff that's way down the road. You just need proof of concept for the technology.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, if you have to scrap 3 weeks of work to rebuild the whole thing, 3 weeks is not that much to scrap.
Well, yeah, especially when it's like 8 hours of resizing shit.
Still looks good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
I promise you'll laugh about it one day.
Whatever.